Hello crafty friends, I'm Trina Whittyhunter. Welcome to Make It Monday. Today we're going to be making this beautiful mermaid card. It's a Shadowbox card using our new print cut color sheets. I have two sheets to show you. The first one is my new Mermaid Magic. So you can see I've got mermaids, some greetings and some little fishy friends and other embellishments that we can use to build our scenes. And our second design is the window design. So this is the scene maker and this is my reef 1 design. So I've got my little reef window that is going to form the front of our card, and we've got some other little bits here that you can add onto your card. So I'll show you once again. This is our mermaid card. It makes like a shadow box. I've got it spring loaded so that it will pop up when you pull it out of your envelope. And it sort of casts a shadow and makes a really cool little shadow box design. So let's get started. I'll show you how I've done all the colouring and then the assembly to make this card. So I'm going to start on the first sheet colouring our mermaid. She's the one featured in our window. Now we know a lot of people love speed colouring videos, so we're going to speed this up for a portion of time. Now you may have noticed these black registration marks in the corners of my print. Now I've designed our Scrap and Season print cut colour designs to work with Cricut Design Space. So I simply import my files into Cricut Design Space using the Print Then Cut feature. I send that through to my printer and then it comes out ready with the marks for cutting. Now if you'd like to purchase these designs individually, they are available in our Scrap and Season storefront as digital downloads, and we'll have links to those in the description below. Of course, the best way to save is to join our subscription in our monthly plan, and then you get to download all of our designs and watch our videos for one small monthly fee. So you make huge savings by becoming a subscriber. If you're already a subscriber, just log into your account and go into our printable section where we have the print cut color designs, and you can choose to download these mermaid sheets, the scene maker reef, along with all the other ones that we have available in that section now. Okay, I'm just finishing up colouring the first sheet, which has our mermaid and all our little fish. Now we're going to go on to the second sheet. This is our scene maker reef, which has the window design for the front of our card. Now I know that we've been speed colouring through this whole process. For those of you who would like to see a real-time video where we go slowly through the whole colouring process and I can share tips and tricks, we're putting together a video for that, and that full-length video will be available in our video library on our Scrap and Season website for our subscribers. Now we're coming to the end of colouring this window on our second sheet. Very soon we'll be able to put these, both of our sheets, the Mermaid Magic that we've done, and now this reef window, the scene maker, we can put those onto our Cricut mats and put them through our machine. Now we've finished both of our colouring sheets and we've mounted them onto our Cricut mats and we're ready to cut. Now this is where those black registration marks come in handy. You'll see that my Cricut machine is going over those marks, it's scanning them so that the Cricut knows exactly where to start cutting around our images. If you're not familiar with the Cricut Print and Cut feature, we have a full video showing how to use our Scrap and Season print cut colour designs with Cricut Design Space. I like to cut on 300 GSM cardstock, which is quite heavy, so you'll see that my Cricut machine is cutting 3 times around each image to get through that heavy cardstock. You can change the settings in Cricut to suit the weight of cardstock that you're using. So our sheet has now finished cutting and we're ready to unload it from our Cricut machine. Now I can peel back the outside layer to reveal all of our images cut perfectly. I love this part, and then I can have them all ready to go onto my projects. Now here's our second sheet with our window. We can peel that out and we're almost ready to start piecing our card together. Now I like to gently bend my Cricut mat as I peel my window off. This helps to keep the window straight so it doesn't curl too much. Now I think this is my favorite part after coloring and cutting, is peeling off all the pretty little pieces that I can lay on my mat, and this helps me feel creative. What can I make with these? Now I'm bringing in my base card, which is going to be a 5 by 7 inch card, and I've designed the frame that it will have a little bit of a border around the edge, and I wanted it to be able to float off that card. You can either attach it with foam, but I've put some spring hinges, you'll see that coming, and then my little mermaid can nest inside that window. I'm going to be using some Distress Oxide inks. You can see I've got Salvage Patina, I have Peacock Feathers and Uncharted Mariner. I'm going to be doing some ink blending on this panel, which measures 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. This is going to go behind our frame and just give us a little bit of a watery background. So I'm going to start with my first colour in the middle. This is Salvage Patina, and we're just going to use a circular motion with our ink blending tool, and then I'm going to come in with our next colour and work around. This is Peacock Feathers, and I just want to softly blend around that Salvage Patina, working them together. The thing I love about the Distress Oxide inks, they're lovely and creamy, and you can work them back together. I can bring back the Salvage Patina and just soften that blend between the two colours. Now I'm going to bring our colour of Uncharted Mariner and use this right round the outside. Now of course our window frame is going to cover some of the outside edge here, but when you tip the card on an angle to look through that window and see the shadows, that darker colour is going to help make those shadows a little bit deeper and just give a really nice blend to our card. So we're just going to keep working those together until we've got it looking the way that we want. So I've got all my layers ready. We're just going to see how they're going to nest together on our base card. Now that we know that's going to fit nicely, I'm just going to add some glue onto the back of that panel, and we can adhere it to the front of our card base. So again, this is a 5 by 7 inch card. My panel that I'm gluing here is 4 3/4 by 6 3/4 inches. Now sometimes when you do the ink blending, the Distress Oxides take a little while to dry, so I'm using a microfiber cloth just to smooth that down and push it down so I don't get ink all over my fingers. Okay, so I've got a scoreboard here, and I've got 2 pieces of cardstock that are 2 inches by 7 inches each, and I've got a scoring tool here, an embossing tool, and I'm just going to score these at 1/2 inch increments. So I'm going to go 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1 1/2, and then our cardstock is 2 inches, and I'm going to go the same again, 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1 1/2, and then my cardstock is 2. Now I've cut these at 7 inches. I'm just thinking I might need to trim a tiny bit off now that I think about it, because I think my frame is 6 3/4. So I need to trim off about 1/4 inch off each one of these pieces of cardstock. So I'm just going to take my scissors and just trim off about 1/4 inch, just so that it will hide behind my frame. If I want to, I can actually hold it there and just double check that it's the right length, which that is. Okay, that's good. Now I'm going to bring in a bone folder, and I'm going to fold this in half down that 1 inch mark and just reinforce it, and then I'll fold this back, burnish that, and fold it back the other way as well. and you can see that it allows a little bit of movement like a spring mechanism. So what I want to do is adhere these onto my card. I'm just going to see which way, this is my first time having a play with this new frame, so I'm just going to see which way I want to adhere it. I think maybe like that, so it springs up. I'm just thinking, do I want to go the other way? That looks a little tidier, so I might go that way. Okay, so I'm going to put some adhesive on this part, and where this first fold is, I want to nest that with the edge of my panel. Now I'm just seeing there's a tiny little bit showing. I think I'm going to just trim a fraction off here. I don't want it peeking through my little window. Mind you, this other side seems to be a little bit narrower. I'm just going to trim a little bit off each one. About 1/8 of an inch, I suppose. You could use a paper trimmer actually to make this nice and tidy if you want to. And I'll just check, actually my other side is probably okay. Yeah, that side's fine. Alright, so I want to add some adhesive and just adhere it so that the first fold lines up with the outside. Now you can use a strong tape. I'm going to use liquid adhesive so that I know it's going to dry well and hold on. So I'm just going to have that. Make sure you've got that tucked in and folded. And I'm just lining that fold up against the edge of my panel, just so that the spring mechanism is going to look nice. And it will fold in like that, and then I'll adhere this other one to the opposite side. So again, I've got that fold down and just lining it up with the edge of that front panel. So those are looking nice, and then I can tuck all of that in. And then I'm going to add adhesive here and attach it to the front of my card. Now this panel is going to nest on top of my my ink blended panel, and it will give me a little bit of a white border around the edge there, and then it's going to pop up and just make a little shadow box window type thing. So I'm going to just add some adhesive to one side for the moment, and I just want to make sure that this fold line, that score line and fold line there, that it's lining up with the edge of my inked panel like this. So I've still got a little bit of margin on my card front, and you can see this is all kind of lining up with the inked panel. So I can push that down. At the moment I'll be able to push this in nicely, and it's open. Now I'm going to put adhesive on the other side. So if you were using a like a score tape, a roll of tape, this is foam, but if you had the tape that you tear the liner off and it's double-sided tape, you could put your strip of tape on with the release paper, rub it down, and then peel a bit of the release paper out and just leave a little bit out like a tail or a wing. And then you could line it up, and that would stop it's grabbing on straight away. You would have a bit of release paper here that allows you to line it up nicely, tack it down on the end, and then pull that tail and pull the release paper out, and it would grab on, but you'd have time to line it all up nicely. Now I'm just thinking, before I actually glue this down, maybe I'll get my mermaid where I want her to be. So I want her around about central on the card, about there. So I'm going to add a bit of foam tape to her. Before I do that, I think I'm going to just add a little bit of shadow here. I'm going to get a grey marker, just a light one, and add a little bit of shadow under her shell and a little bit along the edge of her hair, just to break up that white space a little bit. I like that. That kind of balances it out for me now. I'm quite happy with that now. Okay, so I'm just going to put a bit of foam tape on the back of my mermaid so that she's going to be lifted up a little bit. I'm not going to press it down yet. I'm just going to double check. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Now I'll push her down. Okay, so I've got my adhesive there. I'm just going to gently put that down, and if I ease that back so I can see where I'm going, I want to line it up with the edge of that panel that I blended with the Distress Oxides. Just gently push that into place, and I can collapse my frame down and make sure it's going to go flat so that it will fit in the envelope for mailing. We've got a little bit of depth there with the foam, but it's going to be fairly flat, and I still want to add a few other embellishments. So sometimes it's good to make yourself a padded envelope, so it's got a little bit of a score line down the side, so it's almost like a mini box. But usually an envelope for a 5x7 card will give you plenty of room to have a bit of foam and embellishments on. Okay, so hopefully you can see that my card still opens up to write a message in it, and then we've got this spring action happening, so you can see it flattens, and then when you let it go, it pops up. And I love that it gives you those shadows, so it's almost like a little ocean cave. And as you look through, you can see that the color is getting a little bit darker towards the outside, which is helping with the shadows. I love this. I think it's so cute. And of course, with the design, you can color it any way that you want. So I'll bring we've already done the colouring, but I mean, you know, you see that it started off as a black and white sheet, and then you can just make it as vibrant as you want. You could add any kind of colour scheme that you like. So I'm going to try a few different designs, use different markers and do different tones. This one's got quite a tealy green tone. I think I'm going to do sort of more of a blue tone on another one. And just try different color combinations. And I mean, you could use any greeting on here that you want. I've got lots of little greeting printouts that I could put happy birthday, you know, just anything. But I think I'm going to just put this little fishes and best wishes. I like the look of that one. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of foam. Again, I know this is going to be a bit thicker. You could just adhere them straight onto that panel if you wanted to, but I love adding dimension, so I'm going to do that. And then I think I'm going to add a few little fishes. Maybe I'll have a couple little, yeah, I think I want to add some in here. So I'm going to, some of them I'll just glue straight onto the back. Tuck them in. They don't all have to be popped up on foam. And if you wanted to, you could even have some kind of swimming out from behind her. Would be quite cute. I might do that. And because it's good having some things disappearing in the back there, up into the frame, to add a little bit of intrigue and you know, let your recipient have some fun discovering some of the things that are in there. Now I can move this over to the side a little bit. That's the good thing with this frame. It's a little bit flexible, so it gives you some space that you can have a play with. Now if you wanted to, another thing you could do, I know I put my panel on first and then adhered this. You could always attach these springs to the back of your panel so it's blue right to the edge, and then those nest behind, and then you'd glue your whole panel together. So I think perhaps on my next card I might do that, so that I don't have this these white borders here. It would go right through to the back there, would probably be a better idea. And I've got quite a bit of depth there. That's really cool. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can tuck in one of my corals down here. Do I want to have a pink one, or do I want to add a dark green seaweed? Okay, you can take your time and fuss around with whatever you'd like to put in there. Change up the designs that you use. We've got lots of different little variations. Actually, I like that green opposite that one, so I'm going to put this in here. So I'm going to swish this to the side and just add that there up the side of her. And then I'll put my Neptune's necklace on the other side. I think that's what it's called. I don't know, I'm not much of an ocean person, but I think that's what they might be called. All right, I think I want a couple of more little fishies. I think I have another fish coming this way. So let's just add some here. And if you want to add glitter or sequins, you know, any other little embellishments, then you just go for it. You can really have a bit of fun with this. So I like how that's coming together. And then we'll see whether I should add a little starfish somewhere. Down here on my rocks, maybe. I might actually add one right in the middle there. I'm just going to put a little foam square behind that. And I'm going to put it there where the rocks join. Yeah, I like that. Okay, do I want any more bubbles? Probably not there. Could I have a couple of bubbles coming here as if they are floating up through the water? A shimmer pen on this would be awesome to add a bit of shine. And you can always use a white gel pen to add little shine bits on there too. I think I just want to put something here. Oh, I've got this one as well. Although that's very close colour to my my scallop shell, so I don't really want to add that one on. Now, I've got all sorts of different shells and things in this collection. Little seahorses. So all sorts of fun things that you could add in. And then I'm going to use some of them to make other cards as well. I think I'm going to put this little crab in there. Yeah, then you can look down into the card and see the crab there. Okay, so this I think is starting to look really cute. Now, my mermaid, you could actually color her with red hair and make her look a bit like Ariel, how she's sitting there. That would be really cute, like the little mermaid. And we've got some little fishies. I colored this fish and my daughter said, oh, that looks a bit like flounder. So you can play around with the designs and, you know, do what you want to do with them. But we've got all these little bits here that come on the mermaid sheet, and then other pieces that come with the framed one. So there's lots of variety, and I'm going to add more designs very soon. So I love how this can go flat, it pops up, you've got that little cave action happening with the shadows, you've got the little things tucked inside. I'm really happy with how this came out. Got plenty of room to, you know, write handmade by and put your name on there, put a message in there, and it'll fit into a 5x7 envelope. Cool, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video.